Mustangs fans. Josh Rebin here, voice of the Peoria Mustangs. As you can see, joined right now by Mustangs co-head coach Blake Ortman. Blake, good to have you back on around the stable here.
Always good to be on, Josh.
So this past weekend, first road trip of the season, first road trip of some guys' NA3HL crews heading up to West Bend, Wisconsin to square off against Milwaukee Power. Both games collectively as a whole, how did the coaching staff feel about the performance this past weekend?
I thought we had a good Saturday. I think it was a good bounce back game for us. As far as Friday, I don't think we really showed up until the second period. And by then it was almost too late, but you can chalk it up to first road trip jitters, whatever you want to chalk it up to. For me personally, I like to chalk it up. The guys just flat out weren't ready to play. And, I think they showed a lot by bouncing back. In the second game, we challenged them as a team from our coaching staff to perform. And we had to sit a couple guys out. And, it is what it is. It's going through some growing pains. We have a pretty good team this year, but they just got to learn how to gel together. And they have to ultimately, make a choice if they want to be just an average team or a great team.
So looking at Friday night more specifically, going down 2-0, 5.5 minutes in, what was the vibe coming on the bench, especially giving up 2 goals? They've played from behind before. The first weekend they played, a goal behind, but being 2 goals behind, how did that affect everybody on the bench that quick?
I don't know that it was the being down by 2 that was the deflating part. I think it was just how we got scored on and the way we showed up. I mean, our guys weren't happy with how they showed up. It was individual mistakes and team breakdowns that really caused the 2 goals. And I think our guys weren't happy with it, and they didn't really have much to say about it. I think that everything that was said from the coaching staff was just kind of taken by them, and they knew that it was mistakes, and we had a chance. They still came out a little bit slow in the beginning of the second, and then we had a mishap in the game or something, so we had a little bit of a delay. It might have been the other team might have called a timeout before a power play for their team, and we talked to them, and there wasn't really much strategy talked about. It was just like, you guys have to make a choice, and I think they did. I think they responded well at that timeout. They scored 2 quick ones, and that was good to see. But obviously, when you get out to a slow start like that, there's really no bouncing back. Some nights the hockey gods aren't on your side, and they weren't on our side that night. So, yeah.
Yeah, as you mentioned, Chris Condells with a shorthanded goal. About 5 minutes left in the second period. Beckett Doyle getting it within 3-2. Watching the game, just seemed like the third period, it was kind of one of them things. The third period was like 1 step forward and 2 steps back. You just like walking up a muddy hill. You just couldn't get traction. Did you guys feel that same way?
Yeah, you'd get a little bit of momentum, but it's a lot of it's our guys just trying to do individual efforts, which is something that as a group we've all talked about and seen on video, that it's something that we need to break. I think a lot of, when you get the team that we have, a lot of those guys are leading scorers and they're the stars of their youth hockey teams, and they're used to doing everything by themselves. So it's just trying to get them to play as a team. And obviously, as far as the third period on Friday, you have a couple good shifts in a row where you're building momentum, and then you get a penalty, and like we always talk about, it's the hockey gods, man. They're not going to let you succeed if you don't deserve it. And that's what we felt happened on Friday.
Well, we're going to bump ahead, happier times Saturday night. Like you said, bounce back, 6-3 win, kind of a convincing win. From my aspect watching the game, I felt like the boys controlled most of the play. 2 for 5 on the power play. We talk a lot about special teams, and something I mentioned in the write-up, the boys scored a goal every way you possibly could. Even strength power play, shorthanded, and an empty netter. What changed Saturday night that just seemed like they were on the hop ready to rock and roll from the opening puck drop till the time the final horn sounded?
Like I said earlier, like we as a coaching staff, we felt we needed to challenge our team and see what they were all about. I mean, we're still learning this team just as much as they're still learning how to play our way and everything. So, you got to try different things. And or my dad he went in the locker room and he called some guys out and challenged them to be better. And they did. They stepped up early. I think they played the right way. We always had guys above pucks reloading above everything, and actually trying to play, not just having individual efforts. They were making, good plays offensively. And our D were extremely active on Friday, and I felt like they were active in the wrong times. And I think they pick and chose their spots a lot better on Saturday, and everything just seemed to kind of go our way. As far as that, and it's weird how that happens when you play the right way. You get the bounces, you get the calls, you get kind of everything. And there's tons of penalties both ways in that game. I'm sure their coach was feeling that. I know we were feeling it on our bench, but when you're playing the right way, you don't get too stressed out, and you're going to go into a PK and you're going to kill it, or you're going to go on the power play and you're feeling confident that even if you don't score on it, you're going to keep the momentum, and that's what we did on Saturday.
And looking at the box score from Saturday, Tristan Trudell, a pair of power play goals. Jacob Bland, a couple goals, one of them being shorthanded. How does it feel getting them guys? They're involved and they're kind of getting their wheels going now.
Oh, it feels good. I mean, those are guys that you kind of rely on heavily. And, I think they'll be the first to admit they haven't really produced what they should be producing, and then played the right way. And, just to get them involved in the game and on the score sheet, it reflected too, because how they were playing that game. They were playing the right way. They were doing the right things. They were playing very unselfish, and they were rewarded for it. I mean, when you get a guy like Tristan in the slot, he's going to score 9 times out of 10 if he can get himself open. But there's games where, Tristan doesn't get himself open to be able to shoot in those high percentage areas. And then, as far as Blando, I mean, he's been playing for us for such a long time that he knows how to play, and it's just a choice for him that he chose to play the right way, and he was rewarded twice for it.
And looking, Case and Yamada, of course, getting the start Saturday night, played really well, 27 of 30. How did it feel, that young man getting in, it being his first start since I do believe it was 2019, and kind of getting the blood flowing for him?
It was good. We went into the weekend. We had planned on him playing the Saturday game, and unfortunately, Joe had just tweaked a little something, nothing major, but he tweaked something, so we had to take him out. And we didn't feel it was Joe's fault, that the goals that went in and stuff. So we had already prepared on Sush playing last weekend, so he went in. And I don't think the box score really gave him enough credit, because when we were looking at Instat, I think he had about 14 shots and they only gave him 6. But no, he made 4 or 5 unbelievable saves Friday night and kept us in that game to even give us a chance. And then, I thought he played awesome on Saturday. And, if you look at the goals that went in, it ended up being one of them was a 2-on-0, and one of them was a breakaway in the third period that it was our own fault, and it was a breakdown on us, but he played awesome and it was good. And I think it's going to carry a lot of confidence with him. And obviously it instills a lot of confidence in the coaching staff, knowing that we have 3 goalies that we can put in the net at any time. And it's very comforting, and we're very happy for Sush the way he played.
And now looking ahead, and I know we've had this discussion. You don't like when I use the terminology looking ahead. We're bouncing a couple days up here. Rochester in town, first place showdown. Rochester 5-1-0, 10 points. We're right behind them, 4-2-0, 8 points. Again, not to sound like a broken record, we've talked about this several times. Rochester is one of them teams that it just seems like if they want to score, they're going to do it regardless. How do you prepare these young guys for what's ahead this weekend?
Well, we've stressed that this week, and through video and everything, we've kind of broken down how they play, and I'm sure our older guys have been spreading the word as well. We hear them talking about it a lot, but they're just such a well-coached team, and they always have so much firepower. Being affiliated with Austin helps them a ton. And they've got a few guys that are veteran guys that have been scorers there. So you just got to prepare like you would every other week. I mean, obviously you make a couple minor adjustments just to counter their systems and stuff, but we've really hammered down on D-zone this week, and making sure we're closing quick, not giving them time and space, because that's a team that if you give them time and space in the O-zone, they're going to score. Like you said, they're going to bury, and they're going to make you pay for it. And then obviously with how well and stuff they play offense or defense, they play a press where they're pressing 3 guys to the corner right away. We obviously worked on a few things to beat the press, and obviously, you got to move quick and move the puck quick to beat them, because they are big and strong and they're going to close fast. So just a lot of things like that, just trying to find ways to generate offense. You could do Russian drills and stuff where you're playing offense against 6 guys. Just stuff like that is stuff that we've been trying to do to kind of help these guys prepare for playing a team with the caliber of Rochester.
Last season, head-to-head against Rochester at the Owen Center, 3-0-1. That includes a weekend sweep, the first time the Mustang had swept Rochester in Peoria. Up in Rochester is kind of a different story numbers-wise, but we'll get to that when we cross that bridge. How do you guys, as a coaching staff, get prepared to say, you know, we've got film, they've got film, we know what's coming, but the preparation during the week, like you said, you know, getting guys in and practice and stuff, but the preparation mentally, how do you guys handle that as a coaching staff?
You know, it's for a coaching staff, it's not, you really treat every weekend the same. So you're preparing them the same exact way you would. Obviously, you're making your adjustments within systems, like I said earlier. But at the end of the day, once the game strategy is in place and then the boots are strapped up, it's up to the players. They got to decide if they're going to show up or not. And Rochester is the kind of team that you have to show up. If you don't show up, it's going to get ugly quick. And I think everyone knows that. So we're excited. I think our group's excited. And, you know, I think this is a huge test for us, a huge character test and a huge test as a team to see where we stand this year. And this is going to be a big weekend as an organization to decide, you know, where we're going to have to go moving forward, or if we feel we have the right pieces, and kind of see who can play in big games and stuff like that. So I think as a whole group and organization, we're excited for this weekend.
Mustangs fans, that's this weekend, Friday night, Saturday night, 6 o'clock at the Owen Center. Come out. Even if you're not available, cancel your plans. Come out to the Owen Center. It's going to be a great showdown. Rochester in town for the first time this season. First place showdown at that. As I said, both games getting started at 6 o'clock. If you can't make it out, Hockey TV, both nights. You can listen to myself or you can mute it and do whatever you want. But anyway, Rochester in town. Blake, thank you for your time. I know it's been a busy week, but I do appreciate you taking a little bit of time out of your day to chat with us here on Around the Stable Coaches Show.
Thanks, Josh. And I highly recommend no one mutes it. We got a good voice on there, so make sure you guys listen.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Mustangs fans, this is Around the Stable Coaches Show.